Welcome in to Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. On today's show, we will be talking about the quarterback position for your Seattle Seahawks. Who will be the Seahawks starting quarterback in 2023? Now, I know what you're thinking. Geno Smith, that is a foregone conclusion, right? Not so fast. It's a slim chance, but a chance nonetheless that Geno Smith is not back in Seattle in 2023. He is going to be a free agent. And we heard from John Schneider yesterday make an interesting point when asked about the future with Geno Smith. He wants him back, but it's not a 100% certain done deal. Here's what we mean. John Schneider on Geno Smith. First and foremost, we want Geno to come back. And later, when asked if there was a contract figure that would be too high, yes, there is a drop-dead number. But that's the case in any negotiation process. So they're not going to give the moon. But here's what I would say, folks, is maybe let's just say that Geno asks for something that's just ridiculous, that maybe he's not worth. At the end of the day, I still think even then you could consider the franchise tag to bring him back. And we mentioned that earlier this week. And so for me, before we dive into these potential options, if Geno were to not re-sign, I want to be very, very clear. The best thing Seattle can do next year, the thing that makes most sense, is to bring Geno Smith back next year. Now, here's some contract options. We've showed you these before, but I want to show you these, again, courtesy of the Sporting News, of some contract projections for Geno Smith. 2-year deal could pay him around $28 million. Average rate of $14 million, but the longer it goes on, we could see that price essentially jump up. $21 million guaranteed, about 75%. 3-year option pays about $21 million per, and would be about $63 million with 33 guaranteed. So just over 50% would be the number that he would be guaranteed to get. I think those options, either one of those, are fine to bring back Geno Smith. And I think there's still a really good chance he's back next year. But what say you, though? Hearing John Schneider say that we want him back, but, you know, we're still going to work on some things, essentially. Not a 100% vote of confidence. What's your vote of confidence? Are we reading into this too much? Maybe we are. But here's your chance to tell me. What's your confidence level in the comments section that Geno Smith returns next year? You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Scale it for me, 1 through 10, your confidence level. Geno Smith returns next year. So if Geno is gone for some reason, they can't come to a deal, or he gets tagged and traded, whatever it may be, what are the best options for the Seahawks if Geno Smith does not re-sign? Number one for Seattle is drafting a quarterback high. If you don't have Geno Smith, then I think at that number 5 spot, you're looking at C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young if either one of them is available. But I personally think that after Young and Stroud, there is a big gap at the quarterback spot. I know that Mel Kiper loves Will Levis and has Will Levis as his number 1 quarterback, but I don't. I see a lot of flaws in Will Levis's game. I don't think Anthony Richardson is worth anything at all. For me, I would say if Geno, or if we see a situation where he's not back, if Geno's not ready to go, they move on from him of some sorts, then you look at Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, and you maybe even look to move up to get one of those guys if you don't have Geno back. The top quarterback prospects, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, for me, are way ahead of Will Levis and Anthony Richardson as far as I'm concerned. I think Anthony Richardson is quite a project on his hands. Will Levis might not be ready to go day one. I think Stroud and Young both are going to be at a point where wherever they are drafted, that they are going to be in position to be the day one starter. And so with that said, to me, it's about those 2 quarterbacks. If you can't get Geno Smith to come back, can't come to terms of some sorts, then that's your best option, is to go with one of these 2 guys. If you had to pick between one of those 2 guys, C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, who are you going with? Type CJ for CJ Stroud. Type BY for Bryce Young. Let me know. CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, which one would you rather have if you had to draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft? If you want more Seattle Seahawks content, this is the place to be. With daily news and rumors, we're covering the offseason like no one else is here on the channel. Make sure you subscribe, and all your fellow Seahawk fans and friends subscribe as well for the latest happenings on your favorite team. It's all in one place. Link is below, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. So then option number 2, if Geno Smith is gone and you can't draft a quarterback high, is then signing a veteran quarterback. And for me, there's 2 ways of looking at this. Of the quarterbacks that are available in the free agent market, besides Geno Smith, there's only one long-term guy. That would be Lamar Jackson. Although I don't expect Lamar Jackson to be a real free agent. I think Baltimore is either going to give him a new deal or they're going to tag him and trade him from that point. They're not going to let him go to the open market. But you look at the other free agent quarterbacks, besides just Lamar Jackson, I think Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, all those guys are rentals of sorts. You have them play for you for a year, and then you take them back to Blockbuster Video. I mean, that's what you're looking at. And what's interesting, of the name that is the most intriguing, obviously that jumps off the page, is the idea of Tom Brady. I don't think he's coming back to Tampa. I actually think that he's more than likely going to retire and go to the broadcast booth at Fox. But I'll say this, Brady, I think, is washed anyway. I don't think Tom Brady has anything left. And I hope that people don't check the tape back on this, months from now when Tom Brady wins another Super Bowl. And like, wow, remember that dumb Seahawks host that tried saying Brady was washed? I'm just going to knock on wood if that's the case. Tom Brady's had a talented career and has been tremendous, and he's the greatest to ever do that. But I think his best days are behind him that he has done at this point in time. So, I mean, is it possible? I mean, I guess, but it's a long shot, and I would not expect great quarterback play from Tom Brady at this point in his career. So, you tell me in the comment section, TB12, if Geno Smith and the Seahawks can't come to terms, what about the idea of bringing Brady to Seattle? Get rowdy about this one, folks. Sign Tom Brady. HY for hell yes. HN for hell no. Let me know in the comment section. Hell yes. Hell no. What are you thinking? Let me know in the comment section below. Today's show is presented by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code Seahawks125, you'll get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free. Latest Super Bowl odds, the Chiefs are the favorites at plus 325, Buffalo at plus 375, the Niners at plus 400, Eagles at plus 500, Bengals at plus 750. Chiefs, I think, are going to be fine against the Jags this week. Bills and Bengals should be a really good game. I like the Eagles over the Giants. The Niners, I think, are going to be in a battle with Dallas. I lean towards San Francisco. You can bet on who you think is going to win it all. You can also bet on every game this weekend, college basketball, NBA, and more. Use that promo code Seahawks125 at checkout, chatsports.com/bet. The last resort, the final option for Seattle, if Geno Smith were to leave, besides drafting a quarterback or signing a veteran, is turning to our old friend Drew Lock and re-signing him. Remember, he's a free agent, and starting Drew Lock. And we all remember the trade that was made last offseason, the Russell Wilson trade, and when they brought Drew Lock in, and Pete Carroll said that he thought Drew Lock was as good as any quarterback in last year's draft, and all the excitement they had internally about Drew Lock, despite that he had not played that well in his time in Denver. Quarterback competition, it wasn't really close. Drew Lock did not look that great, and Geno Smith won the job with ease. Now, the big thing for Drew Lock that he has going for him, if he were to come back to Seattle, and even as the backup, same thing can be said here. The biggest advantage is his year in the system. He knows the playbook. I mean, he better know the playbook. He didn't have to play at all. He should have been studying all day on this thing. He should know this, better than he knows his relatives at this point, based on how much time he should have been spending in that playbook this past year without ever seeing the field. That is a big deal, I think. That's the biggest thing that I think he has going for him, because we've seen his time in Denver did not go that great. He didn't look good in the preseason last year. He should know this Shane Waldron Seattle Seahawks offense inside and out. The numbers in Drew Lock's career have not been anything fantastic. Quarterback rating below 60. Touchdown to interception ratio 25-20. He's thrown for 4,700 yards and a less than 60% completion percentage. Now, we saw this past year that Geno Smith had numbers previously similar to Drew Lock and took a big jump up this year. Could Drew Lock do the same thing? Who knows? So, what do you think? Is Drew Lock going to be back next year in any capacity? Whether he's the starter or the backup, will we see Drew Lock back in Seattle next year? Let me know in the comments section. Y for yes, in for no. Do you think Drew Lock makes his return to the Seattle Seahawks? Let me know what you think about that, about if Drew Lock will be back in Seattle next year. As always, you can interact with me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live, talking about your Seattle Seahawks on those social media platforms. Folks, it is going to be an incredible offseason. We're counting down the days to the draft. We got you covered. It's all in one place right here on Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. We will see you next time. Thanks for joining us.